6:46. It is Monday, and let's talk about auto insurance. You know, Michigan has some of the highest auto insurance rates in the country, primarily because of our no-fault law, but there are ways to minimize the amount of insurance you pay. Alec Stewart is an insurance industry expert. He's with EagleInsured.com. Alec, great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I guess one way is to avoid car accidents, right, in terms of keeping your insurance down?
Absolutely. Avoid trees and car accidents.
I mean, when you get into some kind of fender bender, does that guarantee that you're going to see some kind of an increase in your insurance?
With insurance carriers, nothing is guaranteed, but in 99% of cases, any type of claim whatsoever will tend to make your rates go up.
Yeah. Now, how do they calculate those kinds of things? Do they have a formula, or is it just kind of a subjective thing?
They have internal formulas. A lot of it has to do with in a given territory or geographic location, how many claims a carrier is experiencing, multiple claims by one specific person. So there are lots of different factors they look at.
Yeah. I see those Geico commercials all the time. Are they real? I mean, when they say, say 50% in 15 minutes, is that true?
Well, there's usually some pretty big stars at the end of it and a bunch of disclaimers. But the issue with Geico is the same thing about, one widget to sell to people. And what we, try to focus on, whether it's working on trying to get your auto rates lowered or your home rates, is work with an independent agent that has multiple options, multiple carriers, multiple types of policies that can shop your insurance for you. And 99% of the time, that will lead to lower rates and tailored coverage.
Gotcha. So basically, get one person that has connections to I mean, do they try to, once they know they're in a bidding war, do they try to bid themselves down, or do they all have just automatic limits?
Typically, again, it goes to how specific states do insurance scoring and things like that. But typically, they have set rates, but the policies aren't the same. So one of the big ticket items is that, the captive carriers, Allstate Farmers and State Farm, and the Geicos that are only able to provide one type of policy and one quote to their customers, leaves the customer not well served by having a one-size-fits-all type policy, whereas if you go to an independent that represents 30 or 40 carriers like we do, as an example, they all have different types of policies. So,
is there any risk, though, in going with some smaller carriers sometimes?
It all depends on kind of what their financial rating is and what the relationship is with the agent. But again, the ability to use an agent, especially when you do have a claim, is huge. I mean, having to call a 1-800 number to a large direct carrier can be difficult to even get your claim handled correctly.
Can you raise your deductible? Is that right, in order to save money on your premiums?
That's one thing. One thing to look at. Typically, what I recommend doing is, a full-blown review of your insurance, your carrier coverage, and your premium. Work with an independent agent, get the coverage that you need, and get multiple quotes so that you can make an educated decision on what type of coverage that you do want. The last thing I recommend to people to do is to lower coverage when they don't necessarily need to. So one of the easy things that particularly captives will do is immediately start trying to change coverage limits, whether it's a deductible or a liability limit or a property limit on a home. And although that does typically lower your premium, many people don't really realize that in essence it's actually lowering your coverage as well.
Gotcha. So you really do need to just get out there and shop around. How do you recommend regularly changing your plan and your plan provider?
A good, solid independent agent should always, at every renewal for every client, take a look at their insurance. Touch base, let all their clients know, hey, listen, if anything changes in your life, if you've got a 15-year-old that's about to turn 16 and start driving, or if you switch vehicles, or if you're thinking about selling your home, let me know so I can work with you on your insurance coverage.
Yeah, I mean, are you likely to get a better deal just by making a change to another company? Or?
Actually, the answer is yes. And the reason is because carriers are constantly changing their rates and their appetites. So between new types of policies coming out that they may roll out that are more competitive, I mean, we have several carriers that have come out with new policy types this year alone.
You just have to stay on top of it. Yeah.
Right. Well, your agent should do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a good, solid, independent agent, you shouldn't have to worry about your insurance all the time. They should be doing the work for you.
Alec Stewart, insurance industry expert at eagleinsured.com. Alec, thanks.
Thank you so much.